Hi, I'm Adrienne Cornejo.
And I'm cornejokearfott.
And for this month's Tour Thursday, we are doing Cedar Crest. Really cool subdivision, or neighborhood, not really subdivision, neighborhood in Normal.
Yeah. Technically it kind of was, because it was the first planned subdivision in Normal.
Yep.
In the early 1900s.
Yep. It ranged mostly from 1914 to 1930.
Yep.
However, the first house, we're doing the walking tour, which you can find on the Town of Normal's website. And the first house we're at is number 5 Broadway. And this was the very first one built. It was built by the developer. And it was built he bought the land in 1890. And it's a Queen Anne home, which was similar, or popular style for that time period. Where most of the neighborhood is more of like your craftsman style home. This whole area that we're doing the tour in was originally a nursery that was owned by...
A tree nursery.
A tree nursery that was owned by Charles Fell. And so it was purchased by Bert Marley Kuhn, which is who built this house and who moved in. And he was also the developer. So with the Queen Anne style, it had like its typical asymmetrical massing and floor plan. Sorry, I have like no voice.
I know.
And varied types of textures and building materials. So like within the house.
And you'll see as we go that the houses are similar, but they are done a little differently. Some have clay tile roofs, some have
this
shingles.
just answered my question about the multi-unit. So my sister used to live here years ago because it was an apartment.
Yeah.
So it says it was divided into apartments in the 1940s, and then it was restored back to a single family home in 1994.
Yep.
So, yep.
Okay.
All right.
We're gonna walk to the next one.
And let's see, some things that we learned when we were doing our virtual happy hour in this neighborhood a while back when we sold a house on Broadway was that this was the first neighborhood that had garages, right?
Yeah, didn't they give away a car?
They did.
Yeah, so for every house you bought, like with a garage, they gave you a car, which is fun.
Pretty cool. Yeah. And were they attached? It was the first one with attached garages.
Yeah, they were attached.
To clarify.
Yeah. And that's why most of them are one-car garages, because back in that time period, you weren't a 2-car family like we are now.
Well, and it was a national, like it nationally was the first one to have attached garages.
Yeah.
So it was like a big deal across the country.
Yeah. Aaron T. Simmons was actually the architect and the designer of the homes.
Yep.
So he's the one who actually designed and was the architect behind almost all of the homes that you see.
Lots of brick or brick mixed with siding.
Yeah, wood siding, or stucco. That was a popular thing to do.
It's garbage day.
Yeah, it is.
Is that the owner?
It's also a great area because you're kind of tucked into the middle of Normal, but you're really close to ISU, Uptown Normal, Wesleyan, BroMennm. You're close to Downtown Bloomington. So it's kind of a good little area because you're tucked in here. It feels like more of a neighborhood than it does anything. But you're right in the middle of town. It's quiet.
Yep.
The trail is just a few blocks away.
Oh, it's
Actually,
right
it's just it's not even a block away.
So if you live on that side, your house backs up to the trail.
Yep.
Stop number 2 on the tour is the corner of Cedar Crest and Broadway, which is where we're at. When Kuhn proposed the Cedar Crest subdivision at the February 3rd, 1914 Town Council meeting, the reaction was really mixed within the Town Council. So the plan was so different from anything else they had had before that some people just weren't so sure about that. Some people objected to the narrow streets, which they're still very narrow streets. And others were concerned about the curves and how they weren't just like straight grid. But after 2 months of review of the streets and alleys, the judiciary committees decided they would approve the development. And so that's when 90% of it was built between the 1914 and the 1930. But like we said, that very first one was, 1890? And there were some built as late as 1966.
Oh, yeah.
So there's also a lot of prairie style in here, mostly Tudor homes. So it kind of gives the feel of like an old English village.
Yeah, which is really cool. And I think what we like about a lot of these homes is even though they look similar on the outside, they're very different on the inside. And some have been added onto. They have like a back room, or sometimes the upstairs layout's different. Some have walk-up attics. So even though they all look the same, they're all not the same inside. So, which is really cool because you don't get that all that much.
Now, some things that they do all have in common though, like they all have really low pitches on their roofs.
Yes.
Where like Victorian homes were like the opposite. So you're coming off of the era with the really steep pitches on the roofs. And so these all are, like if you look at the rooftops, they're all like a really low pitch. So this is 25 Broadway Place, number 3 stop on the tour. And the building materials used in Cedar Crest were very, very important to the architect and the developer. And so it was actually like a trendsetter nationally, just like the garages, but like the use of the different materials. And so the 3 primary building materials, as you see from looking around, are stucco, like this house on the tour.
Yep.
Wood and brick. And they do a mixture of them. For 50 years, the typical McLean County house had been constructed from specifically like wood brought by the railroads and local mills, where they were bringing stuff from all over the country for these homes. By the early 1900s, more manufactured house components were being imported. So that's where you start getting like the tile roofs, elements like stucco.
Yeah. And don't be afraid of tile roofs. There's companies that will get you replacement parts. They're actually super durable.
Yeah.
That's a question we get all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it's a tile roof. Like, no, they're actually super durable, and they're really easy to maintain. So don't be afraid of them.
And the brick that was used a lot in here, I thought we were going to get hit by the garbage truck, were considered a like rug face brick. So it's kind of got like a different texture on it. That house doesn't, but it looks like that one right over
Yeah, it almost kind of
to the right does.
I think of it like almost like a lion marks, like you
Yeah.
know, like scratches.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I
That's
would.
a good way to describe
Yeah,
it.
that.
Yeah.
So the next stop is number 2, Clinton. We're at the corner of Clinton and Hillcrest. And in 1993, the Cedar Crest subdivision was the first one in the town of Normal to become a historic district for the town.
Yeah, and then in 2006, it became historic on the national level. So pretty much.
And it was the first one in Normal to become historic for Normal and when it became nationally recognized.
Yep.
It was the first one from Normal for that as well.
Yep. So it's got some cool history.
And as far as national recognition, there's only 2 other Normal neighborhoods. Old North Normal and Highland.
Yes.
And then they also recognize 3 places in town: Cooks Hall, Camelback Bridge, and
The Normal people.
thank you. All right, on to the next stop.
That completes our tour. But if you want to do the full walking tour of Cedar Crest, you can go to the Town and Normal's website, and you can print it off and you can walk it. And they have a few other stops on there. But we thought we would end it. This is our new listing on Broadway. It's 17 Broadway. It'll be up in the next 2 weeks.
Yep.
But if you want information on it, give us a call. It's super adorable. I want to live here.
Yeah, and it's a great neighborhood.
Yeah. So,
As you know, as you just found out, it's
Yeah.
really cool. Lots of history.
yeah.
Lots of cool older homes.
Yeah, and if you have any questions too about any other houses in town or Normal, or if you are, if you like historic homes like we do, we'd love to talk to you about things that are on the market and help you any way we can.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Bye.
Bye.